Welcome back to Retro Life for You, the podcast where we rewind time and celebrate the greatest movies, TV shows, actors, toys, and pop culture from the golden age of entertainment, the late 70s, 80s, and 90s. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible early career of one of the coolest actors to ever wear an eye patch, to drive a big rig through Chinatown, or battle shape shifting aliens in Antarctica, the legendary Kurt Russell. Before he became Snake Plissken, Jack Burton, or R.J. MacReady, Kurt Russell was a child actor working for Disney, starring in westerns, sitcoms, and family films long before becoming one of the defining faces of the 80s action cinema. Today, we'll break down his early beginnings, his Disney years, his TV appearances, major film roles to the 90s, not 1980s, I'm sorry, roles he almost got, and behind the scenes trivia, as well as some fun discussion questions that you can use with listeners or our listeners and guests. Funny, I'm reading off something and it's word for word, and I just fell for it word for word, right? So, so grab your VHS tapes, your denim jacket, and maybe a flamethrower because we're burning this down, right? We're talking Kurt Russell tonight, everybody. Marty,
Yeah,
Kurt Russell, he's been around for a long time and a lot of great things.
he has, yes. Like you said, I mean, like his early career was with, I want to say, like even before Disney, I think he was on TV, like regular TV episodes of some
Yes.
shows.
Yes, he was in quite a few things. Kurt Russell himself was born March 17th, 1951 in Springfield, Massachusetts. His father, Bing Russell, was an actor, best known for Western television shows like Bonanza. The Hollywood connection helped Kurt get into acting at a very young age, and he began appearing on television in the early 60s, quickly becoming one of Disney's most recognizable young stars. One fun fact right away on him, though, Kurt Russell is reportedly the last actor personally signed to a long-term contract by Walt Disney himself. That's kind of cool.
Mm.
I mean, that alone is a
You,
piece of
you would
Hollywood
think it
history.
would have, you would have think it would have been, that one girl that played Hannah Montana. I'm trying to think of.
Well, no, but no, he's one of the last long-term contracts signed by Walt Disney himself.
Oh, okay. Not
Yes.
Not Disney Corporation.
No,
So,
sir. No, by Walt Disney himself. He's the
okay.
last actor personally signed to a long-term contract by that man. I mean, that right there is a piece of Hollywood history if I've ever heard it, right?
Exactly. I
His
mean,
his TV appearances in the '60s, before becoming a big movie star, he some early credits include Dennis the Menace. Did you ever watch the old Dennis the Menace show?
the black and white.
Yeah,
I think I might have catched a few reruns,
yeah. You
you know,
remember
here and there. But
Nickelodeon used to have it on Nick at Night for a while. The Dennis the Menace
mm,
stuff.
yeah,
The Travels of Jamie McFeeters, which I have no idea what that is.
yeah, me neither.
Gilligan's Island. He was something like what Tarzan Boy or something like that.
Yeah,
Some weird
Monkey Boy. I
Monkey
think.
Boy. It's some
Yeah, I
weird
think it was
name.
Monkey Boy.
Definitely some weird name. I know. He was in Lost in Space. I loved Lost in Space when I was a kid.
Yeah, yeah,
I loved it. I don't black and white color version, whatever it was. I don't care. I liked it. The goofy looking robot running around and danger, Will Robinson,
yeah.
danger.
Danger, Will Robinson.
I mean, geez. Um, uh, the Virginian. Have you see the Virginian? I don't know if you've
Is
seen that
that
or
a
not.
TV show? A western?
It was a western, yes, about the same time
Yeah.
of Gunsmoke and Bonanza and all that good stuff.
I want to say I might have caught a few episodes, but not watched it religiously. So,
Okay. Also, as I mentioned, Gunsmoke and Bonanza. He became known as a reliable young performer with charisma and natural screen presence. And unlike many child stars, Kurt Russell transitioned successfully into adult roles, something that's incredibly rare in Hollywood. A lot of child stars just burn out, it seems like,
uh
and and that's it.
yeah, it just fizzle away. So,
I don't think the guy who played Dennis the Menace, I don't think he translated into adult roles later on.
uh
That's what I remember anyway. Uh, so of those old TV shows I mentioned, were you a fan of many of them?
Bonanza and Gunsmoke. Those are probably the only two. So,
I wasn't big on westerns when I was younger, but my dad got me into watching them several years ago. As
mhm.
an older adult and everything, I'm like, man, I missed out on a lot of good stuff because I didn't watch that stuff back then. I was like, this is great. So definitely love those. His Disney years, we mentioned Walt Disney himself signed him. It's the last big signing he had during the late '60s and early '70s. Kurt became one of Disney's biggest stars. Some of his major Disney films include The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, Now You See Him, Now You Don't, The Strongest Man in the World, Super Dad, and Barefoot Executive. These movies were huge for family audiences at the time and helped make Kurt Russell a household name.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a single one of those. I don't remember any of those.
I have actually watched. It was back in the day, but it was the computer wore tennis shoes. I've actually seen that. So the
Well,
guys, I want to say when I watched it, I don't think it was like when it got released, but it might have been like a twofer. Like one night they showed like Escape from Witch Mountain, and then they showed the computer wore tennis shoes. They might have did that. So
the Witch
that's
Mountain movies I was a big fan of.
uh-huh.
Those Now You See Him, Now You Don't. It's like an Invisible Man kind of movie. It looks like had Kurt Russell, Cesar Romero, Jim Flynn, or Joe Flynn, and Jim Backus. You know who Jim Backus is, by the way, right?
Refresh my memory. Who is it?
Thurston Howell the
Oh, that's
third.
the hell the third.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was with him on Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
Strongest Man in the World. This is a picture of him on there. He's holding this giant barbell up over his head, right? Comedy film directed by Vincent McAveedy. Let's see, following the movie Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, and Now You See Him, Now You Don't. It's a slapstick humor with light science fiction elements. It says nothing major.
Mhm.
So, Dick Van Patten, Cesar Romero again, Phil Silvers, Eve Arden. He's worked with some great people in the past as a kid, into his Disney years, and into his adult years. Translates to that too. What's interesting is that Disney originally marketed him as a clean cut all American kid, which makes it even crazier that he'd later become one of the grittiest action stars of the '80s.
Exactly.
That's crazy on its own, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Man. Something that many people don't really know about Kurt Russell. Baseball. He seriously pursued professional baseball. He played minor league baseball for the California Angels organization as a second baseman in the early 1970s. Shoulder injury ended his baseball career. So, ironically, that injury may have changed movie history forever because he returned full time to acting shortly afterwards. So, imagine a world without Snake Plissken or Jack Burton, or
I
at least
agree.
Kurt Russell playing the roles anyway, right?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
It could have been somebody else, and it would have. I don't think it would have translated over as well as it did because you know Kurt Russell just had that look. He was Snake Plissken. He
Mhm.
was Jack Burton. I
Mhm.
mean two iconic roles, and coming off of a really great director, John Carpenter.
It's like saying it's the same thing as saying imagine Indiana Jones being Tom Selleck.
Yeah,
Because
because
we all know he almost got the role. And he turned it
exactly.
down because of Magnum PI.
Mhm.
So if he hadn't turned it down, he would have been Indiana Jones. Would he have given us the same thing that
Uh,
Harrison Ford gave us?
Maybe a little, but not as much as Harrison Ford did.
No, they're to me they're two totally different actors. I mean, it's different styles, different ways. I couldn't see it being the same thing for me at all.
Yeah.
But like the guy says on Facebook, his name is Leo. I forget his actual name. It's a comedy thing he does. No, thank you.
Yeah, no thank you.
No,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
agree. I agree with that. No thank you.
Yeah, we don't want to be a world without him doing those movies. Some TV movies and the transition to his adult roles here. The late 70s were crucial for Kurt Russell. He started taking more mature dramatic roles, especially in television movies. Some of his notable projects on TV included a movie about Elvis, and the Elvis movie is from 1979, aired on ABC, directed by John Carpenter.
Oh, so that might have been where he noticed, Kurt Russell as an actor.
Could have been. It also starred his father, Bing Russell, and Shelley Winters.
Hmm.
So it was Emmy nominations for acting, cinematography, and makeup as well for that TV movie. So there you go. Produced by Dick Clark Productions, and John Carpenter at the time was known for Halloween in '78. Says he collaborated with cinematographer Donald Morgan to recreate his 50s and 60s Americana feel for Elvis Presley. And he does a pretty good Elvis Presley imitation, from what I remember.
Yeah.
He also had a movie called The Quest and the Deadly Tower. His portrayal of Elvis Presley in Elvis was a major turning point for him. The film was directed, as I mentioned, by John Carpenter, and a collaboration that would completely reshape Kurt Russell's career, because now John Carpenter has met Mr. Kurt Russell, and he's like, I got some films for this guy I want him to do.
Exactly.
I got some ideas.
3 films, exactly.
At least 3 films, exactly. He's got some ideas, right? And he wants some stuff done. So the John Carpenter era, it consists basically of early 80s, more or less. The partnership became one of the greatest actor-director combinations in movie history. Together, they created multiple cult classics throughout the 80s. And we say this because some of them didn't do too well to theaters. And Kurt Russell debated, I think it was with Big Trouble in Little China, whether he really wanted to do that movie or not, because some of the other movies didn't do quite so well. Or maybe it was Carpenter that debated doing it because his other ones had flopped. That might have been that.
Yeah.
And then I think he talked Kurt Russell into coming in with him and everything. But the role that really changed everything for him, I think, has got to be Escape from New York. And I just watched this over the weekend. I haven't seen this in years. And I was like, before we do this, I really wanted to at least get 1 or 2 movies in if I could. And people, I'm not even going to go into it, but I just had such a busy weekend. It seems like I never have time anymore to do what I want. But I watched Escape from New York, and this movie was such a great movie. Some people are going to say it was kind of stupid. I mean, if you just sit down and watch it for what it is, watch it for what it is. It's got this gritty action character who's tough as nails, who's got this deal to go in and rescue the president of the United States, whose plane has crashed because it was hijacked, and it crashes over into Manhattan Island, which is now this
maximum security prison.
Yeah, the whole island's a prison now. They let them roam free. There's no guards or anything. They live amongst themselves there, but they can't go anywhere else. And they get what only they get.
They either get blown out of the water, or they get blown up trying to get across the bridge.
Right. There's no escaping. Except for one guy who says he is the layout for the bridge, he says.
Yeah.
And then they call him, I think, what do they call him? The Brain or something like
that? They call him Brain. Yeah.
The Brain, but that's not his real name, though, because Snake has worked with him before.
Exactly.
He got messed over, we should say. But Snake Plissken, Escape from New York. The role transformed Kurt Russell from former Disney actor to full-blown action icon. Fun fact about it, Plissken became one of the most influential action characters ever created. Hideo Kojima openly admitted Snake inspired Solid Snake from the Metal Gear series. I knew that. I didn't know it, but in my mind, playing that game growing up, I was like, I know this has to be based after Snake Plissken. It's got to be.
Because eyepatch. He looked identical. I mean, face and everything, except for the haircut, because the haircut was, like a flat top spiky deal.
Right. And think about it.
I mean, it looked identical to Kurt Russell.
just think about it. The eye patch, the attitude, the cynical delivery that he had with his words became instantly iconic. And in that game, you got the eye patch, right? You had a little attitude with the character who was Snake in there. So it was just crazy. Anything you want to say about Escape from New York before we move forward, or anything? Anything like a favorite scene or anything like that, or what you liked about it?
Oh, the first time I saw it, back in the day, it just like blew my mind. I mean, it was like, I mean, sending this, person over there to rescue the president, and just how rough and tough, and just his character, where he like basically like one of my favorite scenes, is at the very end of the movie when he's talking to Hulk, and he's all like, Hulk is all like, I got another job for you, Snake. He's like, come work for me, and he's like, don't call me Snake, call
The
me
name,
Plissken.
the name's Plissken.
Yeah, the name is Plissken.
Just right before that, though, when he walks up to him, he goes, "You gonna kill me now, Snake?" He goes,
Yeah,
"I'm too
I'm too
tired."
tired. But
um,
I mean, just how like gritty, the city was, and because well, you had Isaac Hayes playing the Duke of New York, you
yes, I was
know,
watching that, and I was like, it hit me. I forgot about that, and I was like, "That's Chef. Chef is
yeah,
playing the bad guy."
yeah,
I forgot
yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
I mean, you got Isaac Hayes playing this iconic role of the bad guy, the Duke of New York, and just his demeanor in the movie was great also,
Yeah,
and just you had like so many different characters that had been thrown into the basically the prison island of New York, and some of them seemed halfway decent, like they'd just been thrown in there just because they might have stole some money from like their mom or something. And but then you had like some of them that were in there that like they call them like the what were they called, the bottom dwellers, or the night stalkers, or whatever they were. They were the people that were coming up out of the ground, and they were basically like, if you got caught, I think you become dinner, because I think they were all cannibals.
well, they were all
So,
looking for food. They were like running out of food. Now it's time to go hunting.
yeah,
Is
exactly.
what they were saying about him. This movie had some great actors in it too. By the way, Kurt Russell, Lee Van Cleef played Hulk, Adrian Barbeau played
Uh,
the love interest to the brain. Isaac Hayes was the main bad dude on the island. The president, just to go to show that John Carpenter likes to reuse people, was Donald Pleasance.
Donald
Played.
Pleasant, yeah.
What was he known for?
Halloween, Dr.
Uh,
Loomis.
yes, Dr. Loomis. I mean, it's funny when a director finds somebody he really likes to work with. He'll throw them so many roles, and just
Exactly.
can just keep running with them and everything. But great movie. I'm not going to give away the ending of it in case you haven't seen it, but the ending of it's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Because it was a slick switch. I was like, okay, that's
Mhm.
I'd forgotten that part too, buddy.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten it. I thought
Him,
that was
him
slick.
walking off in the
Yeah,
distance,
yeah. I was
and
like,
he's
that's
just
slick.
like,
Yeah, that's don't tell it. Don't tell it. Don't give it away. uh, Next was The Thing. Now I've seen The Thing at least once. I'm sure because I remember parts of it in my mind.
mm,
Okay,
wow,
but
that's my movie.
I haven't watched it in so long, and that was one of them I thought I'd watch this weekend until I got tied up with everything else going on. So it didn't quite work out for me to get a chance for it. But he plays helicopter pilot R.J. MacReady. At release, the movie actually underperformed, and the critics were harsh. But over time, it became a masterpiece of horror cinema. People loved it. Uh,
Yes.
VHS was what was like a money making machine for a lot of people out there, because a lot of people, even though their movies may not have done well at the theater, the movie rental people, as we've discussed many times over, Marty, it's a completely different beast of its own. And people
Hmm.
were always looking for something fun to watch on the weekends. And movies like this just they took off and
It flew
flourished.
off the shelf. It just
Right.
flew off the shelf.
Exactly. The practical creature effects by Rob Bottin still look incredible today.
Yes.
And Kurt Russell's performance gave the movie its grounded realism. And you never really find out
Yeah, if that's the very end of the movie,
right,
if,
you
if
never you get
literally, if literally they were basically MacReady and the black guy, I can't remember his name, but they're sitting there and they're basically like freezing to death, and they didn't know if MacReady or him was the creature.
So it's Keith David. We were wondering earlier. It's Keith David, and
Okay.
Wilford Brimley was in it as well. I
Yeah.
also forgot to mention in the previous movie we talked about with Escape from New York, Ernest Borgnine was in there as well,
Yes,
playing
Ernest
this
Borgnine.
crazy person basically. But anyway, back to this one. Kurt Russell, Wilford Brimley, Keith David, main people on it, and like I said, John Carpenter film as well. So. I don't have a real memory of that one. I didn't get to watch it, so I can't speak too much on it. But is there anything great about it that you liked about it the most?
Man, so many good scenes in that movie. I mean, like if you are a horror, just horror junkie. I mean, this movie has so many good horror scenes in it. It's unreal, and like I mean, it's so hard to actually just pick a favorite scene in the thing, but one of my favorites was where I, I want to say it was it was the doctor that was standing over the one guy, and then the guy seemed to like have a heart attack or something. So he's on the table and he's like beating him on the chest.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden his chest opens up with teeth and it eats his daggum arms. His arms fall into his chest and his clamps down on his daggum arms. And he pulls them back and he's pulling back nubs and blood's like squirting everywhere. And then so MacReady he takes the fire
Listen. So what you're saying basically is the guy who got his arms bitten off. He has no future in boxing now.
Yeah, no, but so he takes the gun and he lights this dude up. But while the body is burning, the head is literally like pulling away from the body as it's burning, and it falls to the ground. And then it's like the head is like turned on itself, and the eyes and the mouth are the eyes are here at the bottom, and the mouth is up here, and then it's still kind of like making a noise like oh, and and then you see these daggone like eye tentacle things pop up out of the neck, and then out of the sides of the head. It turns into like a spider. It's got 3 legs here and 3 legs here, and it goes crawling off. And then they're just kind of like looking like, what the hell? And then MacReady turns the fire thing on it, and it goes like,
bring the flamethrower.
Yeah, the flamethrower. That's right.
Well, next in line we have Silkwood, 1983. Now I've never seen this one. And I saw a preview for it earlier, and I almost watched it. I think it's available on Prime.
I actually checked on Prime, and I did not see it.
Where did I see it then? I thought I saw it somewhere available to watch.
I want to say a lot of Kurt's movies was done by MGM back in the day, so it could have been on MGM.
Could have been. It says here, Silkwood is a 1983 American biographical drama film directed by Mike Nichols, and it stars Meryl Streep, Kurt Russell, and Cher, dramatizing the true story of Karen Silkwood, a worker at a plutonium processing plant who became a whistleblower after uncovering safety violations. The film is noted for its performances and its depiction of corporate negligence in the nuclear industry. Director Mike Nichols, writers Nora Ephron and Alice Arlen. I think Nora Ephron was the one that did like what You Got Mail, Sleepless in Seattle, possibly stuff like that. It got 5 Academy Award nominations, including Best Actress. So that's not one that I have any recollection of, so I can't really quote anything on it. I don't know if you ever watched it or not.
I watched a little bit of it, but that was like a long time ago, and I can't even hardly remember,
Yeah, well, let's just say
anything.
there's some movies we're just not going to watch. Probably, I mean, we're not going to watch all movies, right? I
Yeah,
mean, I would if we were gonna go over this movie in a future episode, I would watch it just to
yeah.
go over it and do the film and everything. So, if any of you out there want us to do Silkwood one day, let us know, and we will look at watching Silkwood and breaking that down for you as well.
No, the one thing that I did do is that there was a on Peacock they had like a small documentary, little like maybe that was like maybe 45 minutes,
Yeah.
and it actually talked about the real Karen Silkwood, and that was really well done. So if the documentary is based on her life,
Hmm.
and the whistleblower, that she was for the nuclear plant, and that she was going to the New York Times magazine, or yeah, the New York Times, to basically tell what was going on at this nuclear plant. I really would watch this movie. So just from watching the documentary.
I don't think it would be bad. I mean, there's some movies that, you know what it reminds me of, just hearing about it? Reminds me of Aaron Brockovich in a way,
Yeah, yeah,
like an earlier version of it, what Aaron Brockovich was. I mean, they had a whistleblower in that about PB&E or whatever it was called, PV&E, some kind
yeah.
of, there was some
They're
kind of,
polluting the water. Yeah.
right. So that was a great movie in its own, different person, different time, and everything, but still kind of relevant toward what we're talking about, I think.
Hmm.
Um, we skip ahead now from 83. I guess he doesn't do anything movie wise again until 86, because this is the next film in line, and this is John Carpenter also, and we're talking Big Trouble in Little China. Uh,
Jack Burton. Jack
I've
Burton.
I've seen this movie so many times. That's where the saying comes from under my name here. It's all in the reflexes. I tell
Mhm.
people this all the time. Somebody just told me not too long ago. I they had thrown something at me, not thrown something at me, but to me, like it was keys. I was going to put some keys up at
Yeah.
work, and they tossed the keys to me sideways, and out of the corner of my eye, I reached my hand out and I grabbed it like that and turned around and looked at them as I caught it, and they're like, "Huh?" And I said,
It's
"It's
all in the
all
reflexes.
it's all in the reflexes." you know, I love that. Nobody ever gets it for the most part. I think one person has got that when I done it, and I told him, I said, "You are the greatest person ever. Thank you for catching that and getting that." Nobody ever gets that.
Yeah.
But
But Wayne, and dude, that whole scene, Wayne was like hoping that he wouldn't catch the beer bottle
uh-huh.
because he was gonna knock his ass out. he he takes that axe, wow, and then that beer bottle goes flying across the table, and Jack leans back and he's got it like this, and he goes, "It's all in the reflexes."
Yeah, he goes, always works at home. He says, "Will invite me over for
Or
dinner one night. In the meantime, come up at
yeah,
$1,125 times
times
two."
two.
So, but big, one of the greatest cult classics of the decade here, Big Trouble in Little China. Kurt Russell's Jack Burton is one of the funniest and most unique action heroes ever. What makes the movie brilliant is Jack Burton thinks he's the hero, but he's actually kind of a clueless sidekick through most of the film. Wang Chi is like the hero, right? He's
Yeah.
doing all the main fighting,
Yeah, he's all
but
like flying through the air. Wow!
doing like 8 flips in midair before he lands, right?
Mhm.
But that was intentional. The movie blended martial arts, fantasy, horror, comedy, action, and while it underperformed at the box office initially, it later exploded once again on VHS and cable television.
Yeah,
If it wasn't for VHS in the 80s, I think a lot of actors would not have done nearly as well,
yeah, and I
because
get, and I
there's a lot of great movies that we grew up watching and we find great because they were rentals we watched,
exactly.
and we wouldn't have had that ability. We wouldn't have seen them at the theater, you know. But anyway, while it says today it's one of the most beloved '80s cult classics ever made, which is true.
Yes.
And as far as a favorite thing from that, that is one of my all-time favorite movies ever. speaking of it's all in the reflexes. At the end of the movie, toward the end of it, when Jack Burton and Lopan are facing off,
Mhm.
Jack's got the two girls in behind him. Got Gracie and Miao Yin behind him, and he had thrown the knife at Lopan, who
Bong.
dodged it, and he hits the little gong thing, right? And he picks it up and he looks at it. He goes, "Nice knife." He says, "Goodbye, Mr. Burton." And he throws it at him, and he catches it in midair and flicks it back real quick. And it gets him right square in the forehead, and he just falls down. And when he does, as he falls, he hits the gong again, but this time it goes to the side, hits this statue, and goes ba-boom, 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 but knocking all the statues like dominoes off. So it comes all the way around. And when the last one falls, the two women look at him, and what's he say?
It's all on the reflexes.
All in the reflexes. That is awesome. Now, here's something that'll ring a little bell to you. I believe you watched this weekend.
Yes.
1987, Overboard.
Yes, I did. With Goldie Hawn, his future wife.
Right. They've been married for a long time.
A long time.
Right. He starred alongside longtime partner Goldie Hawn in Overboard. The chemistry between them made the movie a fan favorite. A little fun fact about it: Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn became Hollywood's longest-lasting couples without ever getting married. They've never been married. They've been a couple all these years.
Yeah.
But for those who want to know what the Overboard is, it's a romantic comedy film directed by Gary Marshall, starring Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, known for its mix of screwball humor and sentimental charm. The film has remained a cult favorite for its chemistry between the leads and its playful take on class and identity.
Because literally, it's like, he does all this work for her on her boat, and then basically she's like, "What is this made out of? Is this what is this made out of?" And he's all like, "Oh, it's made out of wood." And she's like, "No, it's supposed to be cedar." And he's like, "Well, it's oak." And she's like, "Any good carpenter knows." And she's like, "They're supposed to use cedar." And he's all like, "Well, I don't care what you say. You owe me $600 for putting in," because he had literally made her like this shoe rack for her closet.
Yeah.
And like basically you crank this little handle on the side, and the shoes on the front, they slide over to the side, and then the shoes to the inside, they come sliding forward, and then the other shoes slide back. Like, dude, it was really cool looking. But she's arguing, "I'm not going to pay you, get off my boat." And he's like, and he literally, he leaned up against the rail, and he's like, "Sweetheart, I ain't going nowhere until you give me about $600. And she's like, "Heathen," and she just pushes him off the boat right over into the water. And then so at one point he had taken off his tool belt, and he takes off his tool belt, and she's all like, "Don't touch me. Don't touch me." And he's like, "I wouldn't touch you." And then that's when she calls him a heathen, and then tosses him off the boat. But
It says here, for the plot and premise of it, basically, she's a wealthy heiress named Joanna Slayton, and she falls overboard from her yacht and loses her memory. So the mistreated carpenter, Dean Prophet, played by Kurt Russell, seizes the chance for revenge by convincing her she is the wife and mother to his 4 unruly sons.
yeah,
And
dude,
as she
them
adjusts to
kids
her
are
new,
right.
yes, I've seen that. As she adjusts to her new life, it says the ruse leads to comedic misadventures and ultimately mutual affection. So, but yeah, it's that quite a big revenge there, I would say.
Yeah.
Quite
Like,
a bit.
that one of the scenes where she, like, she's cleaning the house and everything, and I mean, she just basically grabs like the cloth off the table, and the dishes are still there on the table, and she takes it and she just drops it into the sink, pours some Dawn dish detergent, some Dawn liquid soap on it, and hits it with the hose pipe, hoping that the dish is gonna clean. And
Right.
and at one point, she's like taking like a shovel and like shoveling all the garbage around in the house. But the funniest part, man, is where she's outside, and I don't know what possessed her to do this. I guess it was on the chore list. It was like a list that he gave her, and and then so she cranks up this daggone chainsaw, and as soon as she pulls it and it starts up, she ain't used to it, and it throws her back, and she's like waving this thing all around the yard until she finally hits the scarecrow, and she beheads the scarecrow with this chainsaw. And then she's sitting there and it's like cutting into the post. And she's all like and then it's like and then she like goes into like this state of shock, and the kids are like sitting there, and she's basically sitting in the chair, not even blinking or nothing. And one of the youngest kid has got like a thing of grapes, and he's throwing it at her, and he's like, "She hasn't moved in an hour." And then Kurt Russell's character, he comes walking into the house, and he's all like, "What are you kids doing? What's wrong with her?" And then they said, "Nothing. She hasn't moved in an hour, and the only thing she does is just go ba 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 ba." And then all of a sudden you hear her. She's like over in the corner, and she goes ba 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 ba. I was like, "Oh, that is so hilarious."
Well, we only have 3 more movies left with him for the 80s. And one of them, I can't say I know anything about, to be honest with you. Now, the one I don't know about, I'm gonna get to first. It's called Winter People in 1989. I don't know much about that movie, but he did that. So we'll just skip over it since we don't really know it. I'm sure you don't know about it either, do you?
No, but he did the Mean season in the 80s, didn't he?
No, no. Well, if he did, oh yeah, it's early 80s and 85. It wasn't listed. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I said from Silk, he did Silkwood, I said, and then oh man. Okay, Silkwood, The Big Trouble in Little China. He also did another movie in 1986. We skipped over. I can't believe we missed this. The Best of Times.
I was Robin. Yes.
Because you just
Yeah,
watched it
I
this
watched
weekend.
I watched that one today.
So Kurt
Well,
Russell and
I
Robin
watched it
Williams.
yesterday. So
The Mean Season was also in there in 85 and Swing Shift in 84.
okay,
I guess and he was also in The Fox and the Hound in 81. He was the voice of Copper.
he was the voice of the fox.
Yeah. Now was that where friend of the show was also in there as a voice in the movie? Keith Coogan.
Keith Coogan, yes sir.
He was in
He
Fox and
played
Hound.
he played the hound.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, there you go. Swing Shift. I'm not sure what that's about exactly. That sounds so familiar. Swing Shift does.
I remember a little bit of the movie. I don't think I've watched it all the way through. Only things that I remember about the movie was that it was done in like the World War II like era, and then Goldie Hawn's character, I think she was with the USO, like she was a singing, like she was like singing with the USO, and I think Kurt Russell's character was either an airplane pilot or he was working on the airplanes.
Well, his name was Lucky Lockhart, so
Okay, so he was an airplane pilot. So,
sounds like a pilot name, don't it?
yeah.
Well, I mean, since we don't know a whole lot about them, we'll go ahead and skip them in favor of the other movies toward the end there, so we don't lose too much time.
I was gonna say The Best of Times with Robin Williams. Yeah, I did watch that one, and that's a good one. So,
well, I remember Marty told me more about it earlier. I would say it's definitely recommended to watch if you want to watch a good Robin Williams. You can't miss with Robin Williams anyway when he does a movie. So, I would say that I would definitely recommend to watch it. I've seen it a long time ago. I think I have. I'm not positive on this. I'm trying to remember. I remember a football scene that I've seen for sure.
yeah, like one of the craziest scenes in the movie is like when they're finally on the field, and they're getting hammered by the other team. Because by halftime, I think they had run up like 6 or 5. It might have been 5 touchdowns on them and everything. But it's like it gets weird because all of a sudden you see like lightning crashing in the background, and then the wind picks up, and then it starts raining, and then it makes the field all muddy and everything, and then they all go into the locker room, and then it's like when they come back out of the locker room, it's like they're all you know energized and like ready to play some football. And the one reason is because Kurt Russell's character in the beginning of the game, he was just kind of like in the game. He just wasn't. His heart wasn't into it, and he would throw to like this one guy that he would thinking that he would catch the ball, but he never would catch the ball. And then he literally told him in the locker room, after the one coach, gives us, kind of inspiring speech saying, we need to get out there and win, but at least for the town, And Kurt Russell's character, man, he turns around and looks at this dude, and he does him. He's like, your hands are for shit. He's like, you need to get out. You need to get out there and you need to start catching some balls. And then that's when Robin Williams, that's he. I don't want to give too much away, but there's a certain thing that's in Robin Williams' like gym bag that he had done to get all this rolling, and that's when Kurt Russell tells him, you basically he tells him that he's a piece of what, and for doing this, and then that's when he was wearing black shoes, and he walks over to his locker, and he takes these white cleats out of the locker, and the white cleats always represented, that Reno Hightower was there to play some football, and he walks back out onto the field, and the field's like super muddy, but everybody's just kind of like looking, and then the announcer in the booth, he's all like, Reno's wearing his white shoes, everybody, and the whole area just like explodes. And basically, that's when they start, bringing the game back, and then and that it's like a really cool, like little inspirational scene, like going towards the end of the movie,
Like kind of like an underdog that comes back or something.
the underdog coming back. So
yeah, the replacements.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm not going to touch on Winter People since we know nothing about it, but Tequila Sunrise was 1988. That was with him and Mel Gibson and Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah, Kurt Gibson. Listen to me, Mel Gibson. A former LA drug dealer tries to go straight, but his past and his underworld connections bring him into the focus of the DEA, the Mexican feds, and the Mexican drug cartels. Gosh, it's been so long since I've seen this.
I know Kurt Russell is one of the DEA agents. So.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it'd be I know I've seen it because we had it on tape a long time ago. We owned this at the house. So I know I've seen it. It's just been so while that I can't put a story together for you to tell you it's been so long, and I didn't get to watch it this weekend either. So,
yeah,
but those three people, a great cast for the weekend. And the last one of the 80s we were going to talk about before we get into our questions and everything is Tango and Cash. Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell. That is probably one of his
Jack
best
Palance.
ones. And Jack Palance.
Jack Palance as the very bad guy.
Yes, and if Travis was here, he would talk about the nice, cool, fresh Aquavelva.
Exactly.
Every time we had a Jack Palance thing, he would bring that up, and we did Tango and Cash one time, as far as doing a movie. So if you guys want to listen to the Tango and Cash deal, go back and look in our archives. and you can see where me and Travis did a Tango and Cash and covered that. It was a fun podcast for that movie. We love that movie. But that's probably one of his best movies of the 80s for me, along with Big Trouble in Little China, as far as favorites that he did, and Escape from New York. That's my top three favorites of his from the 80s.
Yeah. My top three is probably going to be The Thing, Escape from New York, and Big Trouble in Little China. I mean,
Yep.
you can't leave out Jack Burton, man. I mean, he's the icon. So,
Right. You cannot leave him out at all. There's no way. So as far as following up Kurt Russell here, while Tombstone arrived in the 90s, and we love Tombstone, many fans considered Kurt Russell's 80s work the foundation for everything that followed. By the end of the decade, he had become an action star, a comedy lead, a dramatic actor, and a cult icon all in one decade. Very few actors managed to get that kind of combination and notoriety in Hollywood during that time. And here's some fun what ifs for you. Here's some fascinating what if moments in movie history, roles that Kurt Russell was considered for but didn't get. And you can think to yourself, how different would these movies have been if Kurt Russell had got the role? Would it have been better, worse? It would have been okay, bombed, whatever. You tell us in the comment section what you think would have happened if Kurt Russell had gotten some of these roles. So Kurt Russell was considered for Han Solo in Star Wars. He actually auditioned for Han Solo before the role went to Harrison Ford.
No.
Marty says no. And I agree because
a hard no.
here's our no thank you. Here's our problem, okay? Our problem, everybody's problem is this. Once you've seen somebody in a role and you know what you got and you loved it, it's hard to imagine anybody else taking that role and doing anything with it or doing anything successful with it or good with it, because we know what we got and that's what we wanted. It's like saying, what if Mel Gibson was Rocky and not Sylvester Stallone? No, it wouldn't work because it's too. I firmly believe that people are picked for roles and not given roles for a reason because they didn't fit the criteria that role had, and there's always somebody better that they knew what they were wanting and got those roles. Things play out exactly like they're meant to be.
That would be like, like if they had asked Sylvester Stallone to be Mel Gibson's character in Lethal Weapon. I would say it's funny. I would say that would be a no for me. So.
It's funny. Sylvester Stallone was approached for Beverly Hills Cop first.
That would be a no.
He didn't do it because he didn't like the way it was written, and he gave them a whole new rewritten version of it and wanted to do that. And they said, no, this is what we want. Right, exactly. It turned out to be Cobra. Yep. So he's Cobra, but he's not Axel Foley, right? Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. He was reportedly take it for what it's worth, okay? Reportedly considered before Harrison Ford landed another legendary role. So that's two Harrison Ford roles he was considered for, supposedly.
I want to say it was because Steven Spielberg, I don't know if they've done any work together or not, but he always considered Kurt Russell like an iconic actor, and I think that was the reason why he approached him for Indiana Jones.
Could be. I don't remember the movie Blue Velvet. That doesn't ring a bell to me. But he was considered for the role of Jeffrey Beaumont. Blue Velvet here, I can tell you, is a movie with
Dennis Hopper. Dennis Hopper played that role like you would not believe.
So Dennis Hopper was the role of Jeffrey Beaumont?
Yes.
All right. So Kyle MacLachlan, Isabella Rossellini, Dennis Hopper, and Laura Dern. A neo-noir psychological thriller. So I've never seen it, though.
Dude, Blue Velvet is a crazy good movie.
Well, I've got one more movie that's going to blow your mind that he got considered for. You're not going to believe it.
What's that?
Of all movies in the late 80s that you would think he wouldn't be considered for.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Nope. But who's the best Batman?
He was considered to replace Michael Keaton
He was
as
among actors
Batman.
discussed during early casting conversations for Batman before Michael Keaton got the role.
What,
But can you imagine Kurt Russell as Batman in 1989?
dude? And I could see him in the suit, but definitely not as Bruce Wayne. He just did not. He did not have that playboy billionaire type. Snooty.
Right. Right. So look, I'm gonna give you some fun trivia stuff, and then I'm gonna hit you with a couple of questions, Marty, because we're getting close to closing time here.
Okay.
Trivia section. Walt Disney's final written words reportedly included the two words Kurt Russell, because he's one of the last people to sign him. If you remember, like I said, to Walt Disney contract or a Disney contract. Kurt Russell provided the voice of Elvis Presley in Forrest Gump during the scene where Elvis appears briefly. He performed many of his own stunts throughout the 80s. Carpenter said Kurt Russell is one of my favorite actors to ever work with. Kurt Russell's son is former MLB player Matt Franco. Wait, correction, not son. His son is Wyatt Russell, who later became an actor himself. Why did people think that Matt Franco was Kurt Russell's son?
I think they kind of favor a little bit. So.
Yeah, Kurt Russell is one of the most successful child star to adult star transitions in Hollywood history. And Quentin Tarantino once described Kurt Russell as the ultimate movie star. Big fan of his. So, a few questions to toss at you. I think I know where you're going to go with this. You're going to go one of two ways. I'm not sure which, but what is Kurt Russell's greatest 1980s role?
Oh, man. I'm still going to have to pick Snake Plissken over Jack Burton.
I'm going Jack Burton all the way. I got to, man. I've got to.
It's just like you said, Jack Burton was basically a hero in his own mind. Snake Plissken, he had the chops to back it up.
He was now this right here. I know that I know my answer in my heart on this one here, but I want yours. Is The Thing the best horror movie in the 80s? If not, what is?
I'm going to definitely say for special effects, The Thing is awesome. But my favorite 80s is going to be Freddy Krueger himself, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Thank you. See, that's why you're my friend right there. The first Nightmare on Elm Street is the best one of the 80s, hands down.
Exactly.
Because of the idea behind what it is. It's such a scary thing to know.
Yeah, because you die in your nightmares. I mean,
right. Which movie deserved more success at the box office? Big Trouble in Little China or The Thing?
Okay, repeat that. You kind of went a little wonk. So.
Which? Well, I got away from the microphone. I think. Which movie deserved more success at the box office? Big Trouble in Little China or The Thing?
I'm a horror fan, so I'm going to go with The Thing. But if you hadn't said The Thing and you had picked something else besides that, I would have definitely said Big Trouble in Little China.
Gotta make it hard. Hey, I can't make it easy on you. That wouldn't be me.
It would be The Thing over Big Trouble. So.
Could Kurt Russell have been a believable Han Solo to you?
I don't know. I mean,
I'm gonna think outside the box for a minute.
Maybe, but it just, I don't know. He would have to pull that, that kind of Snake Plissken kind of grit to make the Han Solo like believable.
See, here's where I'm with that. You said Snake Plissken grit. You're close. What I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Snake Plissken's grit with Jack Burton's
comedic influence.
Just Jack Burton's demeanor, because it's like so. He wants to be the hero, but he don't know how to be the hero. But Snake Plissken is the hero. So getting grit from Snake Plissken, but the comedic stuff from that, and you've got Han Solo right there. It seems like.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. I mean,
I think he could have pulled it off.
Yeah. But like you said, we're so used to seeing Harrison Ford
Yeah.
in that role. It's just, I mean, just thinking about it. I mean, I can literally almost picture it in my mind, seeing, a long haired, Kurt Russell.
Oh no, he would have to cut his hair for the role. You had to fit the direction of the description of the role, the shorter type hair, kind of scruffy looking.
Yeah.
He'd have to do that. He couldn't have the long hair like he had
Well,
in the other movies.
yeah. Well, okay, with the short haircut, the scruffy, 5 o'clock shadow on his face, you know, it's just seeing, seeing that image sitting next to Chewbacca. It's just like no. I mean, it's like no. It's like no. It just it's like I'm reverting back to seeing Kurt Russell, in the young teen years, and then seeing maybe the shaggy dog sitting next to him. I mean, it's like the Disney years.
Right. Well, okay. Which Kurt Russell movie from the 80s is the most underrated? Like, you think it's one of the better ones, but it didn't get the love from people that it should have gotten?
Overboard. I really think that movie is really funny, and it's a good romance movie also. And I'm not a big romance movie guy, but just I thought that movie got looked over. It didn't make a lot of money in the box office.
Yeah.
But like you said, once VHS and DVD hit, I mean, it's like that's where it made its money. So
Right. I'm not gonna put anything in on that one. That's too hard for me because I like a lot of his movies, and I mean I don't know. I'm gonna leave that one alone. This one here though, you know what I'm gonna pick already. I know what you're gonna pick, so I don't know why I'm even asking it. What's the better cult classic film, Escape from New York or Big Trouble in Little China?
Escape from New York.
Big Trouble in Little China. So we knew where we're going with that one. Who was Kurt Russell's best director collaborator? Has to be
John Carpenter.
Has to be John Carpenter.
Hands down, John Carpenter.
Which Kurt Russell character would survive longest in a real apocalypse? That's easy.
Oh, Snake all the way.
Snake Plissken all the way.
All the way.
Did Kurt Russell help define the anti-hero trend of the 1980s?
Yes.
I think so. I mean, Snake
Plissken. I do.
Definitely. And Jack Burton's not a hero. He's not like
he's a hero in his own mind though.
Right, but he's not. But the anti-hero thing would be like a bad guy who's doing good, right? Kurt Russell,
a villain turned hero.
Jack Burton's not really a villain, but he's not really a hero. He's just the average Joe who's trying to do a heroic thing.
Yeah.
So not really anti-hero, but Snake Plissken itself, that character, without Snake Plissken, the 80s wouldn't have been quite the same, I don't think.
Exactly.
So you gotta have that. So anyway, I'll go ahead and throw out the social media real quick. We are on Facebook and we're on Instagram, and we of course are on YouTube, where we have all of our videos out there that you can watch with us. I say this all the time, all of our videos on YouTube. Well, if you go back and listen to the old library on audio, you'll find there's quite a few audio episodes that do not have a video for it, because at the time we were not a video type podcast in a way. We later on picked up, myself and Travis, when he was just me and Travis only, video as well as audio. So, and Travis kind of pushed me toward this. I never wanted to do YouTube, but he pushed me toward this and said, people love watching the videos too, man. Come on. So anyway, these days you can catch it on YouTube. We're on any platform that you listen to your audio podcast at, especially Spotify and Apple Podcast. We do have a website. It's www.retrolife4u.com. You can listen to us in the web browser. I don't really do, TikTok very much.
And just to let all the listeners know that it's getting a little longer. but it's only just like not even a little bit of an inch.
So,
maybe a smidgen, a quarter of an inch.
so Santa Claus Phillips over there is trying to grow this beard out. If anybody's keeping up with the length and how much it goes, it's barely edging out a little bit. He's not quite to Uncle Si level yet.
Yeah, not yet.
He's nowhere near.
Maybe if I pull on it.
He's nowhere near ZZ Top. He's not even the Boogie Woogie Man Jimmy Valiant yet. He's not even at that level. No. But when he does get there, y'all will be the first to know. Trust me. So,
yeah.
If you go to YouTube, make sure you follow, you become a subscriber, and that you check that bell at the top, because that's what lets you know we out. If you don't hit the bell, you don't know we got something new, right, Marty? Hit the bell. Hit the bell.
That's right.
And if you're not following us on the social media stuff already, shame on you. We're gonna tell your mom.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna tell her, because
since you brought it up, happy Mother's Day to all them mothers out there. So.
Exactly. Today we're recording is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everybody, especially my mom and Marty's mom. I've known Marty's mom for quite a while as well. So happy Mother's Day to everybody, though. All the moms out there.
All the moms out there. Yep.
That's correct. So Marty, in closing, Kurt Russell's career is one of the greatest reinventions in Hollywood history. He went from Disney child actor to baseball player to cult action icon to one of the coolest leading men of the 80s. And honestly, there are very few actors from that era who will still feel as effortlessly watchable today as Kurt Russell does. So whether you love Snake Plissken, Jack Burton, MacReady, or his classic Disney films, Kurt Russell left a massive mark on pop culture. Thanks for listening to us here at Retro Life for You. If you enjoyed the episode, again, follow the podcast, share it with fellow retro movie fans, and leave a review wherever you listen. And always remember, Marty, to what?
Always stay retro.